It was once a car full of dreams and the need to always win, but life, with its unexpected twists, led him to discover that there's something more important than speed and victory. When we were kids, we all wanted to be like Lightning McQueen, always in first place. But if we look at it with more mature eyes, we realize that maybe not all of us would want to live the life of someone so alone and trapped in their own ego. Stick around until the end of the video, because this movie has a thoughtful message that could change your life. Lightning McQueen prepares for the Piston Cup, saying, "I am speed. I eat losers for breakfast." McQueen is the rookie who has quickly established himself in the racing world. The race begins, and McQueen appears confident and self-assured. The other two superstars are the Dinoco King, Strip Weathers, and the seasoned racer Chick Hicks, three potential winners, but only one trophy halfway through the race. McQueen is already in third position and about to overtake Chick Hicks when suddenly Hicks pushes McQueen off the track, causing him to lose control. To ensure that McQueen doesn't get back into the race, Hicks goes on to push another car, causing multiple accidents and collisions behind him. Everyone heads to the pits for assistance, except for McQueen, who, aiming to gain a bit of an advantage, decides not to pit and not to change his tires. It's the final lap, and McQueen is about to win, but at that exact moment, his tires blow out, leaving him unable to race properly. McQueen is only 10 meters from winning the Piston Cup as the King and Chick Hicks approach quickly. Desperate, McQueen starts hopping but barely moves forward. The three racers get closer to the finish line at the same time, and McQueen, desperate, sticks out his tongue, trying to reach the finish line first. But after reviewing the footage, they announce that, for the first time in racing history, there's been a three-way tie. All three racers will have to face off again in a tiebreaker race the following week. Lightning McQueen is a talented rookie, but his narcissism and performance anxiety are things he'll have to change. McQueen considers himself the best racer and looks down on his support team, believing he doesn't need anyone to succeed. His lack of empathy, a primary trait of narcissistic personality disorder, reveals his struggle. McQueen also fears losing because he feels his self-worth depends on being the best rather than building meaningful relationships. This drives his oversized ego and intense performance anxiety, pushing him to prioritize rewards, fame, and trophies above everything and everyone else. The Italian philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli encapsulates this mindset with his famous phrase, "The end justifies the means," often interpreted as defending any action necessary to gain power, including manipulation, betrayal, and deceit. Both Chick Hicks and Lightning McQueen embody this Machiavellian philosophy. Hicks, by colliding with cars and endangering other competitors, shows he's willing to use any tactic, no matter how unethical, to win the Piston Cup, disregarding the harm it causes others. Similarly, McQueen, in his relentless pursuit of success, risks his own physical well-being by refusing help from his pit crew, all for the sake of a prize. This represents a mentality and philosophy where anything goes and everything is permissible, as long as it leads to victory. Mac, McQueen's trailer, transports him to the tiebreaker race in California. Unfortunately, Mac falls asleep due to driving for many hours without resting, and in doing so, loses track of McQueen, leaving him stranded on the side of the road. When McQueen wakes up and realizes he's lost, he desperately tries to find Mac but decides to take Route 66, thinking it will lead him to California. His arrival in Radiator Springs is dramatic and chaotic as he ends up destroying a large part of the main road. The authorities capture him, and the mayor sentences him to repave the road he damaged. McQueen is hooked up to a paving machine and starts fixing the street. To everyone's surprise, only an hour passes when Meter arrives, exhausted, and informs them that McQueen has already finished. Everyone gathers to see the newly paved road, but they are left speechless when they see that the road is in worse condition than before. McQueen is forced to remove what he had paved and do it again, correctly, something that he does not like because his only goal is to finish quickly in order to reach California before Chick Hicks and sign with Dinoco. Due to his profession, McQueen still hasn't learned that some things can't be rushed. They require time, patience, and hard work. However, repairing and paving the road will teach him values he currently lacks. The next morning, the residents of Radiator Springs wake up to find that half of the road is completed and in better condition than before, thanks to McQueen spending the whole night working on it. That night, Mater invites him to go out and have some fun. Sally approaches McQueen to offer him one of the rooms in her giant cone hotel so he can spend the night. Pay attention here. This is when we can realize that McQueen has changed.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for letting me stay here. Nice to be out of the impound, and it's great.
It is at this moment that we can realize McQueen's change. Before, he had an arrogant personality and a lot of ego. He would never have said thank you for anything because he believed he deserved everything. We also never saw him build important friendships with others. When he arrives in Radiator Springs and no one recognizes him as the famous race car, McQueen realizes that for the first time, people are valuing him for his values and for what he can contribute to the community. Here, McQueen finds a refuge where he feels confident that he can build good relationships with the townspeople, as they do not value him for his fame, trophies, or money, but for who he truly is. Michael Jordan, considered one of the best basketball players, went through a personal and professional journey that can be compared to Lightning McQueen's. Like McQueen, Jordan was extremely competitive and obsessed with winning. He was known for his relentless focus on success, and during his career, he sacrificed personal relationships for victory. Jordan's change in attitude began during his time with the Chicago Bulls after experiencing great frustration from multiple losses against the Detroit. Like McQueen, Jordan was accustomed to a more individualistic approach, with himself at the center of offensive plays. After these defeats, Jordan recognized that team success was necessary to achieve the championship. Instead of trying to win alone, he began working more closely with his teammates and committed to developing a team mentality. This included trusting and improving his collaboration with his teammates. This change culminated in the development of a team ethic that eventually allowed him to win his first championship in 1991. Like McQueen, Jordan started his career with a mentality of winning at any cost, but ultimately recognized that relationships, community, and mutual respect are as important as individual success, a lesson McQueen will have to learn sooner or later, whether the easy way or the hard way. The next day, McQueen looks for the sheriff to ask him for gas. While waiting for him, McQueen enters an abandoned garage. In one corner, he finds something that leaves him speechless, a piston cup. He explores the garage and finds 2 more piston cups. Doc Hudson had won 3 championships. McQueen can't believe it. At that moment, Doc Hudson enters, and McQueen begs him to train him and teach him all his secrets, saying he admires him greatly as one of the most famous racers and the one with the most cups in history. But Doc refuses to talk to him and simply replies, "All I see is a bunch of empty cups," then shuts the door. Sally invites McQueen to take a drive around town. She talks about her life before coming to Radiator Springs, explaining that she was once a successful lawyer in Los Angeles, but realized she wasn't happy. So she traveled across the country, trying to find something more, until she arrived at Radiator Springs and decided to stay for the bonds and friends she found there, which she hadn't found anywhere else. This lesson from Sally, along with Doc Hudson's, reinforces that true fulfillment isn't found in success, like being a successful lawyer or a racer with many trophies, but in forging strong community bonds. Any superficial success is just a collection of empty cups. Compared to today, where attention is rewarded more than the delivery of any meaningful message, McQueen realizes that Radiator Springs offers him something no other city can. 3 essential pillars of personal success: friendship, love, and admiration. First, he finds a genuine and sincere friendship in Matrab who doesn't care about McQueen's fame or wealth but values the good times and shared experiences with him, something McQueen had never experienced before. Secondly, there is love. Many philosophers have spoken about the importance of having a virtuous man or woman by your side. Sally teaches us the importance of being a virtuous woman, as we see that she values and cares more about values like unity, love, and the happiness of the community over career success. McQueen heads to the track, and to his surprise, he finds Doc Hudson equipped with racing tires. Doc starts his engine and takes off with speed and confidence, demonstrating his years of experience as a racer. McQueen watches him with complete admiration as Hudson effortlessly completes the curve McQueen has struggled with multiple times. For Hudson, it's an easy maneuver. Doc finishes the lap, feeling good after racing. McQueen approaches to tell him how incredible he is, but Doc quickly leaves, not wanting to listen. McQueen asks how someone as talented as him would leave racing at his peak, to which Doc would respond,
"They quit on me. There was a lot left in me. I never got a chance to show 'em."
About the rejection he felt when trying to make a comeback, leading him to seek something more transcendental and solid, like being part of a community. Doc asks McQueen, "When was the last time you cared about something other than yourself?" McQueen falls silent because he knows that. Before, nothing mattered to him except winning. This is when McQueen begins to admire Doc. He can't believe that someone who has achieved everything he himself desires, in this case, winning the Piston Cup, would choose to remain humble and empathetic, values McQueen didn't possess. Aristotle spoke about this, valuing relationships with parents or mentors as essential in the pursuit of virtue and harmony, seeing education as fundamental to ethical and rational development. Doc is a mentor to McQueen, teaching him that despite having been in a position of fame and influence, he has not given in to arrogance or ego. The next morning, they find the road fully repaired. McQueen had worked on it all night. He is finally able to leave the town he once hated, but here is when McQueen shows the first significant change in his entire journey. Instead of heading off to California without looking back, he decides to embrace Hudson's teachings, choosing to arrive a little later to the race so he can spend some time with the townsfolk. He makes Luigi and Guido happy by buying a set of tires at their shop. As they hadn't had customers in years, Ramon gives him a new paint job. He spends hours talking to Fillmore while testing his organic fuel, and he shares time with Sarge. Night falls, and everyone turns on the lights of their businesses. The town shines as it did in its best days. Sally is surprised. Her dream has come true. Suddenly, helicopters and reporters arrive in town, surprised to have finally found McQueen. Lightning looks for Sally, wanting to tell her how he feels, but the words don't come. Sally thanks him for everything. McQueen responds, "You don't have to thank me. I just fixed a road." To which Sally replies, "You did much more than that." McQueen gets into the trailer and leaves town. Everyone returns to their homes sadly, turning off the neon lights, leaving the town dark and lonely. In California, McQueen wakes up and says, "I'm Speed. I eat losers for breakfast." The race begins, but McQueen is so distracted, remembering the good times he spent in Radiator Springs, that everyone overtakes him. Suddenly, he hears a voice over the radio saying, "I didn't come all this way to watch you lose." Doc came to support him, and with him are the rest of his friends from Radiator Springs. The people in the stadium recognize Hudson. No one had seen the greatest racer of all time in over 30 years. The crowd goes wild, filled with excitement. McQueen speeds forward, almost passing Chick Hicks, but Chick becomes desperate and hits McQueen, knocking him off the track. Everyone thinks McQueen has just lost the race, but he has already learned the trick Doc taught him. He manages to recover and get back on the track, taking the lead in first place. We're now on the final lap. The race is about to end, but Chick gets angry and doesn't want to finish in third position. He hits Dinoco's King, and the impact is brutal, sending him off the track. The King is badly injured. This could be the end of his career. McQueen is just meters from the finish line, but he decides to stop, leaving everyone stunned. Chick wins the race, but no one cares. No one celebrates with him. Doc and the rest of the stadium watch as McQueen heads toward the King and says to him,
I think the King should finish his last race.
You just gave up the Piston Cup. You know that?
Nah, this grumpy old race car I know once told me something.
It's just an empty cup.
The crowd goes wild and tears up with emotion at McQueen's humble gesture. After the race, Dinoco's owner offers him the spot as Dinoco's new racer. Even though he didn't win the race, he will always be the champion. However, McQueen turns down the offer, preferring to stay with his humble team, who supported him from the beginning. McQueen has learned the lesson: there are things more important than just winning. Being loyal and honest with others are the things that truly enrich the soul and spirit. Sometimes, winning any kind of prize can simply be an empty cup.